Prime Minister Majaliwa suspends 3 TAMESA employees following allegations of embezzlement. Lorry drivers in Songwe protest against ban on transportation of goods at night. And in sports, Tanzania Premier League to resume before other sports. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. I am Vanessa Victor. Let's get things started with the national news. Prime Minister Majaliwa has suspended 3 employees from Tanzania Electrical, Mechanical and Electronic Services Agency TAMESA following allegations of loss of 780 million shillings for a procurement tender. Prime Minister Majaliwa has also issued a 2-month deadline to all government institutions to make sure they pay 25.88 billion shillings owed to TAMESA. Prime Minister gave the directives when he toured the TAMESA workshop in Dodoma City.
The 3 who are deeply involved in this matter, the one who resigned must be brought back, and the 2 must also step down to allow investigation. Those not guilty will be reinstated, and those found guilty will be dealt with accordingly. Chief Engineer, because you failed to manage, you will receive a warning.
And lorry drivers closed the Sumbawanga-Kamsamba Lower Road at Ntungwa Village, Momba District, Songwe region for more than 12 hours in protest against the new district council tax law which prohibits transportation of goods at night, as well as the new fee of 100,000 shillings for a permit for 1 vehicle. The situation caused buses and other motorists to also become stranded on the road, with the district commissioner of Momba, Juma Iranda, saying he has received the drivers' complaints and that they will be addressed.
We are complaining about permits. When a lorry comes to load cargo in Mwamba, it must have a permit. Yet the buyer has a license and permit. No vehicle is allowed to leave after 6 p.m. Travel restrictions from 6 p.m. is within the laws governing the municipal council. They are business owners and drivers who are opting to travel at night to evade paying taxes. This is improper road use. So much chaos has been caused, inconveniencing other road users. We've had their complaints and we shall address them.
And a week after the first consignment of 8 tons of perch is flown to Belgium from Mwanza International Airport, the government has transported a second consignment of 20 tons of perch worth more than 100 million shillings to Belgium and Italy. The fish flown on Rwanda Air were from Tanzania Fish Processors and Nile Perch Limited companies.
Today, Honorable Dr. John Pombe Magufuli has brought a revolution. There is no more red tape. What is happening now? All stakeholders together are meeting in Mwanza so we can discuss on how to increase efficiency in costing and how much time is used in loading the cargo and processing documents. We are planning for all authorities to sit together, fishery, those in charge of issuing permits, aviation and TRA, to have a one-stop center right here. Usually we prefer to load either on Thursday or Sunday, but unfortunately Rwanda Air brought its aircraft on Tuesday, meaning demand is low.
And strategies set by Tanzania People's Defense Forces TPDF to make it an army of science and technological scholars due to the global evolution of technology have been very successful in implementation. Brigadier Commander of 303 Forces for TPDF, Victor Kisiri, made this statement when opening a military training exercise for over 400 TPDF recruits who performed well in their Form 6 science studies.
You must obey that which you are taught. because in operation you will not have time to receive instructions on what to do. I commend you on what you have set out to achieve. We hope during this initial training they will learn on the foundation on how to be an army officer. So when they train later on, they will have a chance to do better. Some will be lucky enough to be selected to train abroad. You've seen how well they have performed. It means that they have followed on instructions given. When you are lucky to train with JKT, then you must train hard and learn to be patriotic and be ready to serve your country.
Kenya's ambassador to Tanzania has urged people living within the East African community, especially in Kenya and Tanzania, to make sure they protect their unity and solidarity at all times, and for the fight against coronavirus pandemic not to be a reason against unity.
Mandera is closed, so is Nairobi, Kilifi, Mombasa and Kwale. No exit is allowed. In addition, 2 weeks ago, because of a lack in vehicles and drivers, Kenya had allowed movement of goods between neighboring countries so as to allow trade. Vehicles transporting goods were allowed, but some of the drivers were found to be infected with the virus.
The Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau, PCCB, has started to interrogate various suspects on misuse of funds allocated for the 2019 African Cup of Nations AFCON Youth Competition. On May 15, 2020, the Director General of PCCB, Brigadier General John Mbungo, at a press conference in Dar es Salaam said that PCCB are investigating allegations against some leaders on misuse of funds for the 2019 AFCON Youth Competition, and that now it has started by questioning some leaders of Tanzania Football Federation, TFF. This morning, the Secretary General of TFF was seen arriving at PCCB at 8 in the morning before being called in at 9 a.m. for questioning. He was then seen leaving at PCCB offices at 11:15 a.m. The government has said that from now on it will set limitations on importation and distribution of pesticides. This is to prevent the distribution of fake pesticides, which have for a long time been a setback to the agricultural sector.
Some among things that were considered in this bill is to facilitate authority that will be responsible in health of plants and pesticides, to create proper procedures in importation, production and distribution of pesticides, and to formulate a system that will be used in collecting and destroying fake pesticides. Opposition camp is stating that the issues of plants' health is just a commercial thing. If the pesticides would not be used for the benefit of the nation, however, we will only recognize the initiative if it will focus on issues of climate change.
The construction of Salender Bridge in Dar es Salaam has officially begun after construction of the pathway through the ocean was completed, with the bridge expected to be completed early October 2021.
Construction has started and a lot of work is going on. The bridge will be 9 meters from the sea level, so you can appreciate how much work has been put in this project. So we hope by next year, October, the bridge will be in use. We had planned for 37%, but to date we've reached 39%, meaning we are ahead. The laying of the foundation required a lot of work, but now you can see pillars above the water.
And a convoy of vehicles escorting the region commissioner of Gator was stranded for more than 5 hours due to the poor state of the road connecting Gator Rural and Gator Urban, which has been destroyed by rain. The regional commissioner and his team had to walk for more than 8 kilometers to Mulangedi village, where a dispensary will be constructed, whereby he directed the director of Gator District Council to collaborate with Tanzania Rural Roads Agency, TARURA, to repair road infrastructure destroyed by rain.
Expectant mothers due to deliver because the road is impassable. They are forced to use the bicycle or motorcycle. The road is in such a poor state. However, now that the rain season is coming to an end, we will be able to work once equipment has arrived. Managers should get ready using whatever budget they have, but the municipal council has money that they can set for corporate social responsibility, working with TARURA to fix this problem.
That's all for national news. International news is next. In international news, Lesotho Prime Minister Thomas Thabane has formally resigned more than a week after his coalition government fell apart in a move that could help end a long-running political crisis in the country. Thabane had formally handed in his resignation to King Letsie III, the top traditional leader of the tiny mountainous kingdom. He was facing mounting pressure to step down over a case in which he and his current wife are suspected of involvement in the 2017 murder of his previous estranged wife. And Kenya has said that it has not closed its borders for cargo vehicles from any country of the East African community. The Minister of East African Affairs, Dr. Adnan Mohammed, has said that the lorries are allowed to enter Kenya after the drivers have been tested for the coronavirus. This comes as Kenya's Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe confirmed 51 new coronavirus cases from 1,933 samples tested in the last 24 hours.
The agreements amongst all member states is cargo would be allowed to move across all member states without any restriction. And that is the position before, it is the position now, and it will be the position going forward. However, because these trucks are driven by people, each of these drivers must be subjected to coronavirus tests. If they have been done in their home countries, then they will be given a free pass at the borders. If, however, they have not been tested in their home countries, then it is an understanding between member states that the countries which trucks are coming into would have the obligation to do tests.
With a few hours remaining until the general election is underway in Burundi, the Ministry of Security has assured citizens of the country that security has been strengthened so as to ensure that the elections are held peacefully. 7 candidates are vying to succeed President Pierre Nkurunziza, who is stepping down after 15 years in power.
The Ministry of Defense is announcing to all citizens that they should not worry about security matters. Everything is under control. All who left the country should rather come back and participate in the coming general elections. No one is allowed to enter voting centers with mobile phones. It doesn't matter if you're a voter, observer, or even election officer. We decided to take this measure in order to ensure that elections are going to be conducted peacefully.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows after this short break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production. Infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and now in business news. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Professor Riziki Shimdoi, has called on Tanzanians to build a culture of using products manufactured in the country so as to develop the industrial economy run by local producers, as well as to address the problem of youth unemployment.
I urge Tanzanians to buy products that are produced in the country. We thank our fellows who have seen the importance of producing products on our own. In our region, people were not awake of sunflower farming, causing us face scarcity of essential raw materials, including sunflower seeds. I hereby calling on our regional leaders to encourage farmers in producing the crop.
And sesame farmers from Mwada Ward, Babati District, Manyara region have called on the government to prohibit middlemen who buy the crop from them for 120,000 shillings a sack and sell for 180,000 shillings at the market. The farmers say that middlemen were causing them to incur major losses.
Middlemen used to buy for 120,000 shillings per sack. But right now the price has gone up to 188,000 shillings. This means that it is worth it to bring our crops to the auctions rather than the middlemen. You'll be paid all your money tomorrow. That business of delaying payments of farmers is over.
The government in Gaeta region has started to issue more than 60,000 identity cards to small traders in 5 districts of the region by using an electronic system to register them in order to prevent duplication. From now on, our entrepreneurs in this region are going to be recognized and easily traced by TRA officers. These data are important for development projects. In Gaeta region, we have about 12,000 identity cards that will be immediately distributed to their owners. This is just the beginning, but hopefully before the end of this month, we shall accomplish the exercise of bringing the rest of the identity cards and distribute them to all small-scale entrepreneurs in the region. And that's the end of business news. Sports is up next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Position, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lend.
And now in sports news. The Minister of Information, Youth, Culture, Arts and Sports, Dr. Harrison Rakembe, says the Tanzania Premier League will resume before other sports in the process of returning sports activities after the coronavirus outbreak. Here's more.
Speaking in Dodoma, Minister Mwakembe stressed that sports have to return in phases as the situation has to be controlled to avoid more spread of the coronavirus. The Premier League was suspended during the March international break with Simba Sports Club at the top of the table. Among other sports that can't wait to resume include boxing, where some boxers were to go abroad, as well as basketball, volleyball and cricket.
Simba SC are battling Yanga FC for the Ghanaian striker Michael Sarpong, with both sides trying to improve on their attacking. Here are more details.
Ion Sports forward is a free agent and was initially locked in negotiations with 27-time league champions Yanga. The 24-year-old revealed he has been contracted by the two teams, although Wekundu Msimbazi are more determined to get his services. However, the Ghanaian has insisted he has not yet made a decision regarding where he will play in the future.
And the Premier League has said fans may not be able to return to matches for a year, even if its project restart is successful.
Another step towards the resumption of the 2019-2020 season was approved by the league's 20 clubs on Monday, as they unanimously voted through a medical protocol that will allow players to resume training from Tuesday afternoon, albeit with physical distancing. A second crucial protocol on contact training is set to be put to clubs in a pair of meetings next week. The third stage will see matches resume behind closed doors. The league said it would send in spectators to training grounds to ensure the protocols were followed. The date of any first fixture looks to have been pushed back, perhaps to the end of June, which will mean a mid-August finish, but following the successful Bundesliga relaunch this past weekend, Premier League plans are gathering pace.
197 people will attend each match when Spanish football returns, according to a protocol prepared by La Liga and seen by The Guardian. Here is more.
A detailed draft drawn up by the league and presented to the clubs outlines the measures to be applied, with players and officials set to undergo COVID-19 tests 24 hours before games and have their temperatures taken on the way into the stadiums. There will be no pre-match handshakes, but there is no suggestion that spitting or goal celebrations will be banned. Indeed, the section dedicated to the match itself is a solitary sentence in a 34-page document. The draft document comes as Spanish football accelerates plans to return pending governmental approval. Teams were permitted to move to collective training sessions on Monday, with groups of up to 10 players able to work together.
Dries Mertens has agreed to a new 3-year extension with Napoli, ending Chelsea and Internazionale's hope of signing the 33-year-old on a free transfer this summer.
Frank Lampard is a huge admirer of the Belgian, who was one of the Chelsea manager's main targets this summer. Inter, meanwhile, offered Mertens a 3-year deal worth €170,000 a week, but in the end, the forward decided to stay at the club he joined in 2013. Napoli did not match the offer from Inter, but Mertens will be paid €140,000 a week once the new contract starts and will also receive a signing-on bonus of €2.2 million. The former PSV Eindhoven player has been one of the best forwards in Serie A for the past few seasons, and Napoli fans will be delighted that he has decided to stay.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and stay safe.